What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Collective Comics and the Lights Comics Action Podcast. We're getting into episode number 10 today. I am joined by the homie Jake.
Double digits.
Yes!
Double digits.
Finally double digits,
Yay.
right? That's nuts. 10 weeks. 11.
No.
11.
If you're just joining us, we put out an episode 0 because we didn't know if we were ready to shoot yet, and it ended up being an actual podcast, so it went out. So that's why Javier is always like, technically, it's 11. But yeah, moving forward, let's make the decision now. We're double digits now.
Right, we're in double digits.
This is episode 10. 10 weeks straight of podcasting. Right. Otherwise, every week we're going to be like, well, technically.
Yeah, we're getting close to wrapping up 2022 here and getting into 2023.
Yes.
We have one more week of the podcast.
Yes.
Of 2023, and that is the last Lights Comics Action Podcast that you will see.
Yes.
Of 2022.
Yes.
But
yeah, and
this is exciting, man.
We touched on it a little bit last week or the week before. We're still thinking about how we want to navigate 2023. We might not see all those changes happen like week 1 of 2023, but they're definitely coming. There's talks in the works. There's works in the works.
Works in the works.
But anyways, I'm the homie Jake. This is the homie Javier. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I am really excited today.
Today, what happened?
We pre-shoot.
Yeah.
Today, we got Batman Spawn.
Today yes, yeah.
I'm going to pick it up tomorrow, I think. Tomorrow or Thursday. Today it releases, and I am so stoked on that.
Yeah, dude. I honestly forgot about it because of the way that we've been shooting with the holidays and everything. I'm like, is it this week, next week?
Yeah, we kind of talked about it.
I was a week off like a couple weeks ago, and yeah, it's crazy. So, dude, I didn't even realize this week.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I'm so excited. I'm just like, I want to go to the comic shop so bad and just like pick it up, but I don't have the time at the moment. But
yeah. Lives. Why do lives get in the way all the time, man?
I wish I was Batman sometimes.
Batman.
I feel like Batman can just do a little bit of everything. He's always in the right place at the right time. But yeah, we're talking about Batman.
I wish I was Nightcrawler. I'll just teleport.
Nightcrawler's dope.
Just teleport there.
We need more of him in the DCEU.
Yeah, I mean, we've gotten,
I think, kind of like hints.
well, Marvel. MCU.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I meant. Sorry.
We're talking about the DCU today. We talked about Marvel last week, but yeah, we've gotten quite a bit of him in like he's been in all the X-Men movies and stuff, and he was just in Dark Phoenix and stuff like that. He was just in Damage Control, the comics that I've been reading and stuff like that. So he's been around, but I feel like that's one thing that we're missing in the MCU is the X-Men. Because, like, I almost feel like the X-Men movies and all the X-Men stuff has still been really separate from, like, the Avengers and just ramming that down our throats. You know what I mean? I think we talked about that a little bit, too, on Does Marvel Even Have Villains?
Right.
A podcast a couple weeks ago is, like, we just start thinking about like all the Avengers, the Iron Mans, the Thors, like all the stuff that we've been watching so much, and we forget like, well, we're supposed to be getting Fantastic Four, and we did get some of Mr. Fantastic in Multiverse, the Doctor Strange movie, but like even the Fantastic Four, you forget. It's in the same universe. Like, they're all Marvel. Yeah. The X-Men are all in the same universe. It's all Marvel.
I guess it's to see how they execute these movies, and that's going to be how I feel like it's going to tie in. I feel like hopefully this marks a new start. Marvel says it's marking a new start.
Yeah. I mean, we got Deadpool 2 coming, or Deadpool 3 coming also is what I meant.
Right.
We have Deadpool coming also, which has the Wolverine in it. And then Deadpool's always kind of had a few X-Men in his movies. So hopefully soon we can start seeing those crossing over. Because I mean, getting into like Secret Wars and stuff, we're gonna have to start merging all this stuff here soon.
Yep.
So, I mean, we got a couple of years.
Yeah, we got a little bit. We got a little bit of time.
If they're toning it back and trying to put out fewer movies but better movies, we're gonna have to start seeing those in the next few movies. So
yeah. The only thing I like about getting older is that the older you get, the faster time goes. So I feel like a year and a half to 2 years, it's not that long.
Yeah, I mean, it's already almost 2023. I know. I mean, 2020 and 2021 almost didn't exist for some people. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's still like. Still thinking back to watching the old animated series growing up, the Spider-Mans growing up, you had the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans growing up, and now we're talking about not liking Marvel because of the content that they're putting up, but it's the same stuff that we grew up with. So it's just like, let's get those iconic movies. But I mean, to play devil's advocate a little bit, we talk pretty negatively about like Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
But I went out to dinner with our nephews the other day, and he was talking about how much he liked Love and Thunder. Your son likes Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
In the 10 range.
Okay.
Between 10 and 15. I don't know the exact age, but
okay. Yeah, my son's 3, almost 4.
Right. Yeah. So it's almost kind of like growing up with the stuff that we grew up with. It's almost like if we didn't have the nostalgia factor, would we still think it's cool? You know what I mean?
That's the thing, is that like there's some of them that I especially notice it with Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
I loved it when I was a kid, but now I'm like, it's all right. I don't like the attitude that Tobey got, and just the way that he kind of portrayed. I think it's a little weird, but that's the thing, is that I kind of noticed that, and with the first movie, I still like it just as much as when I was a kid. I don't feel like it was all that weird. Some of the CG is a little weird, but like you're sitting here in 2003, 2002.
Right.
2002 or 2001. Something like that.
The first one I think was 2001.
How handy.
We have the VHS right here. I don't think I could find it in the Spotlight video, so 2002.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, 2002, but it's a 2002 movie. You're right out of the 90s. Thinking about that, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
The CG.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the only like little thing that I have with it. And that being said, it's from 2002.
Talking about this makes me think about the Ninja Turtles thing I just went on with watching the 90s movies and stuff like that. It's like, for now they look so bad, you know what I mean? But for back then, I mean, it was so cool when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But if I didn't have the nostalgia, like going back and watching a 90s movie, I wonder what it would be like. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I don't know if the same thing happens, but with Spawn, I didn't watch that when I was a kid.
Right.
Obviously, I don't think if my mom probably wouldn't even know. But for Spawn, I'm just now seeing that old 90s TV show, and I love it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, is it good? I feel like it has to be that good, especially because
I think it's a little different though, just because it's animated. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but the writing and stuff is still good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it could have been way worse.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It could have been Beavis and Butthead. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I mean, I love Beavis and Butthead, but the animation in comparison and the art and everything in comparison, it just doesn't. Yeah, it's not as quality.
I wonder. Have you seen the Spawn movie, like the live action?
I didn't watch it yet, but I did see it on there. I want to watch it.
I'm in the same boat, but like going back and looking at Spawn and stuff from that time, it's like they could have done a little bit better. You know what I mean? It's the same kind of thing. Whereas like, I feel like animation ages a little bit better too, because there's always such different versions of animation. So like even like Snow White is so old, but it's still got that Disney shine to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
and
still,
they've remastered it.
Right.
You know, if you watch an original cut of it, it's pretty.
But it's still like, you're still getting animation like that now. There's so
now
many.
they're throwing back to it.
Even with Love, Death, and Robots, I don't know if you've seen that, but like it's basically Love, Death, and Robots. I think they have 3 seasons now, and every episode is a different animator animating a totally different story. So like you might get full CG animation, 3D, realistic, like super polished animation for a whole episode. But then the next episode will be like super cell shaded, flat colors, cartoony,
like it's the pilot or something.
Like, but every episode is completely standalone.
Oh, okay.
It's basically the whole thing is to just spotlight different animation studios and different animators and their style. That's what I was gonna say.
It sounds like almost like variants.
Yeah, kind of.
Do that with comics and
kind of.
like that.
So it's like one of the episodes is this guy. He's super cartoony, like kind of caricature features, big features, big. I don't know how to explain it, but like he's super cartoony, not realistic proportions and stuff like that. And he is like, he buys this thing to deal with his rat problem in his barn, and then the rats start this huge war and all this stuff. But then the next episode could be like super realistic, almost like, is this real people or is this animation? Like that's how realistic it is, and they're like lost in space somewhere. Like that's completely crazy. Detached from each other, completely different styles. But like, that's what I'm saying. Like you get so many different versions of animation still that like, I feel like animation stands its ground a little bit better just because you're not like, okay, the way they make costumes, the way they make outfits, the way they do CG has come so far, but 2D animation is still really cool.
Right. There is, I feel like, somewhere a generation cut off if you don't read comic books and you're not into that kind of stuff. So like I just had the conversation with my mom the other day. I was like, you will watch an Avengers movie. You will watch Avatar. You will watch anything that's not real, but real. You'll watch a Batman movie. You'll watch the Joker.
Right.
You know, but second I tell you to watch The Killing Joke and how it's probably the best Batman story and best Batman movie ever.
Yeah.
You refuse to watch it in the first place, and just in your excuses that you won't get into it.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a generational as much as just like that's always going to be a thing. Like, especially where we live, I think like you get so far in your head is like, that's a cartoon. That's for kids. That's, you know what I mean?
That's exactly what she says. And I was like, just get past it and like, just watch the story.
Yeah.
Just take in the story and digest the story, and you will very quickly get past the fact that it's a cartoon.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's rated R. It's not made for kids.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like The Killing Joke is rated R. I'm telling you to watch this movie. Like you can't think about it for kids. Like Family Guy is not made for kids.
Oh no. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The Simpsons, maybe now a little bit more than so back then, is made for kids.
Yeah.
I'll let I feel like a younger crowd gets away with watching The Simpsons before Family Guy.
More South Park.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Beavis and Butt.
Exactly. You know, just because it's so stupid.
I think even like my wife, like we watch animated stuff. We watch like Bob's Burgers, The Great North, Family Guy. We watch those shows.
Me too, and I love them.
But even like going to like Harley Quinn, she like the first scene is very obviously not for kids, and she's like, I thought this was for kids. What is this? Like, I think there's just that like you almost have to suspend. I don't even know what it is. Like, I feel like you see a cartoon, or some people see cartoons and they're like, those are for kids. Even comic books, they're like, the comic books are for kids. But like Deadly Duo, I don't know if that's really for kids. You know what I mean? There's people cutting off people's fingers and, you know, guys taking huge chunks out of people.
Yeah, I think there's actually ratings on them, and I'm pretty sure I saw somewhere that something about Batman Spawn is rated R.
Really?
Yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me. Yeah.
Not at all. Not at all.
But yeah, like I think it comes from like there's people who are 80 years old who love Disney movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a generational thing. I think it's almost like I don't even know what it would be. You know what I mean? It's almost like a false sense of like, I'm too grown up for this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like, I don't even know how to explain it. You know what I mean? Cause like,
almost like you're shy or ashamed of wanting to watch a cartoon. Like if the neighbor saw you watching a cartoon, you would like care.
It's almost like, I guess like what I can connect it to is kind of like exercising. You know what I mean? Like when you're a kid, you go run around, you play tag, and you might do like basketball for fun or play football with your friends. But then when you get older, I feel like there's like this thing where like a lot of people are like, I'm not running, I'm not exercising. Like there's so much you can do besides running, or like I have to lift weights in this way because this is what I'm doing. And maybe I feel like some people get in that mentality of like, I'm this old, I have to work out in this way, where like
the classic 2 + 2 = 4 equation,
where like
X = Y, you know,
you could be 50 years old and go like play a pickup game of basketball with some people downtown. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to just, I feel like connecting age to content or like things that you should or shouldn't do is probably where it comes from.
Which is so weird, though.
Yeah.
You know, like for me, you know, there's definitely that gap. And it's just crazy because, like I said, you'll watch Batman.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And speaking of Batman,
right.
There's a lot of stuff coming out of DCU.
DC is crazy.
More.
We got some other announcements, too, like going back to like the animated thing. We got Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
We got a trailer for Spider-Verse this year. We got one this year.
Today?
Today. It was when we're shooting this, we just got that. And Spider-Verse is like setting trends and setting like a new way to animate, you know, and things like that. And
I love it. I think it's cool.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I want them to make a game like that. I think it'd be cool.
And then on top of that, all the stuff coming out from DC and the DCU is that's, I don't even know where to start, you know? So pretty much everything we talked about last week, James Gunn has come out and said it's half true, it's not true, and it is true. Also, we don't know what is and isn't true.
Yeah. So it seems like they're trying to fill some holes that they've created.
Yeah.
But they're trying to move forward. There's a lot of tweets coming out of James Gunn. One of them was that fact.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what is going to stay, what's going to happen, and really what was true of what they said. Seems like they kind of just spilled the beans and just let everything out at once. And they're like, well, this could still happen, but if it happens in this way. And we were trying to kind of piece that together a little bit.
It almost sounds like going back to the whole James Gunn is one of two people that knows what's going on. It sounds like somebody outside of that clique, outside of those two people, kind of got wind of something and they're like, yeah, this is what's happening. But James Gunn is like, that's not the whole story. That's not the whole truth. Because it had come out that Wonder Woman is canceled, Aquaman is canceled, Superman is canceled, Batman. Oh, that's the new one. Yeah, we didn't even know we were getting a Batman Beyond until it was canceled. But it sounds like there's way more to the story of just like everything's canceled.
Yeah.
It sounds like they're kind of still at the drawing board. Like, we want to go forward with this. We don't want to go forward with that. We're rewriting this to see if it'll work with that. I think one of the biggest things that came out of all that is he's like, everything we want to do and everything we're working towards is what's best for the universe. It's what's best for the characters, and it's what's best for the story moving forward. So it sounds like they really want to sit down and actually have a plan instead of like, The Rock is big right now, let's do another Black Adam. We don't really like how Wonder Woman worked. That's out of here. And instead of making those impulse decisions, it sounds like they want to sit down and be like, this is what we want to do.
Exactly. And what they did say is that they are not going to please everybody. People are going to be upset, but that it's in the best interest of the characters.
Yeah. I think I think we had talked about that a little bit last week, is like, if they sit down and do all these things and they make all those changes now with a plan moving forward, I think people will be able to forgive them a little bit more than if they're just like shuffling for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
And they made this big change, but they weren't sure. And, you know.
Right. So with everything changing, I feel like the biggest one at the moment is that Henry Cavill is still up in the air for Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And they were about to tie it in. And it seems like it's not happening, but it's almost like, why is it not happening? Because James Gunn tied him in.
Yeah. Not directly, but he tied him into Peacemaker.
Right at the end.
Kind of by association and by a silhouette of Superman.
Yeah.
Because at the end of Peacemaker, the Justice League shows up minus Batman, and John Cena's like, "You're too late." Like, thanks. But in that, we do see Ezra Miller's Flash, and we do see Jason Momoa's Aquaman. So that goes back to a comment that I don't remember where I heard this comment, is like, okay, so is James Gunn kind of going after everything and he's going to make those decisions based on that, but then he's just going to carry on with his Peacemaker and his Suicide Squad, and is his stuff out of the question? But I think what it sounds like to me moving forward is like they're just looking at the whole universe and deciding how they want to move forward.
I think so too. Because I feel like they said, I don't think they, because on the list to be canceled was Aquaman 2, which was supposed to be Jason Momoa's last time as Aquaman before he is supposedly going to Lobo.
Right.
You know, which I feel like that is creating one hole. Now, with not having Henry Cavill anymore is creating another hole. And it's like, are they just going to kind of have everything be everything? And the rumor is to start the DCEU with Pattinson's Batman.
Yeah.
And then from there out is the tie-ins.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard that, but I've also heard that that's speculation. And, you know, we didn't even know this stuff, how far the stuff was going with Batman 89. You know him. Keaton. We didn't even know how far the Keaton stuff was going until they're like, yeah, this was happening, but it's not happening anymore. And we don't even know if that's actually true or not. You know what I mean? Because of the way things are coming out. I think that for me, and I don't know who else applies to this or who else feels this way, but I think for me is like, I'd almost rather not even get a DC movie in 2023 and have them situate everything, get everything ready, and then do a huge like announcement like, this is what we're doing moving forward. We are recasting. This is our thoughts. This is what we want, you know, subject to change because life happens.
Yeah.
I'd rather see that than them just start recasting a bunch of people. Like, I think for me, I go back to the new Fantastic Beasts movie where they recast Johnny Depp. Everybody knew we were going to get a new Johnny Depp, you know? So, you know, when the new person comes up on the screen, I can be like, that's not Johnny Depp. But then that's my thought process. You know what I mean? I know who that is. It's not Johnny Depp. However you feel about that, move forward. Whereas, like, if they would have not announced that and then we just have a new character, and now I'm spending 30 minutes trying to figure, is that supposed to be Johnny Depp? But it's not. You know what I mean? Like, why didn't they do this? And now I'm thinking about, like, what's going on. Obviously, we knew about the trial. That was, like, the most public thing in the world. But it's like, why didn't they get Johnny Depp? What's going on? Like, if they would have just made somebody else Aquaman and not told me what's going on, I've been like, did they get in a fight with Jason Momoa? Did he want too much money? What's going on? And I'm thinking all these things while I'm trying to watch a movie where it's like, if I go into Aquaman, there's going to be a new Aquaman, deal with it, regardless if they're just like, this is why, or they're just like, hey, there's a new Aquaman, deal with it. I can go in and be like, all right, there's a new Aquaman, get over it. Let's watch a movie. You know what I mean? That's kind of my thought process is like,
because they're still supposed to film Aquaman, right?
I don't know. I mean, even if
it hasn't been filmed, right?
Even if we knew, I don't know if we would know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't
think it's been filmed.
I do know that like the whole Flash movie, that's a whole nother conversation. We can get into that more too if you want to, but I did hear that they did do shots with Henry Cavill. They did do shots with Ben Affleck, and they have done shots with the other members of the Justice League
and Keaton.
And now they're basically rethinking all those shots, and they're going to have to think about how they want to progress in the universe, let alone with those characters.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say about Flash is I feel like they're just doing this to kind of hit a reset on themselves with moving into the multiverse of DC. I think they can be like, all the stuff that you're talking about was Earth 7 or you know what I mean? And then right now we're doing Earth 1. This is the Earth 1 moving forward. I think that's why they're going forward with Flash. Whether or not that's true or not, I don't know. But I think that gives them the ability to be like, everything that you saw, that's what you saw. That was a different universe. See this Flash movie. We have a different universe now. We can jump universes, and I think you could even work it into like bringing Peacemaker over. You know what I mean? Because I could be completely wrong about this, but Peacemaker was originally a totally different company's character. I think it was like
I heard something about
I don't remember what the comic was, but then DC had ended up acquiring the whole comic. And Peacemaker was one of those characters, and then down the road they're like, yes, here's Peacemaker. This is our Peacemaker. But I think their reason for him entering their universe was him coming from a different universe in the first place. Like I said, I could be wrong about that, but for some reason that's triggering in my head that Peacemaker's introduction into DC was him coming from a different universe in the first place. So, you know, you could make all those ties. You could do all those things, especially with the 3 Joker stuff coming. Yeah. They're already like pulling from universes. They're talking about getting Old Man Batman, the sad Batman, and all these different Batmen. Go back to that. So, I mean, they're already like kind of working the universes. So I think that's the biggest reason to move forward with Flash, even though Ezra Miller is so problematic right now with everything that's going on in IRL with his personal life and stuff like that. But even then, he's Barry, I can't remember his last name right now. I want to say Barry Miller, but it's Ezra Miller. Anyways, Barry's not the only Flash. You know, it's kind of like the Hal Jordan Green Lantern. Yeah. You know, we could see another Green Lantern, but it doesn't have to be the Hal Jordan version. We could see another Flash, but it doesn't have to be Barry. You know, so once you kind of introduce that multiverse, you can kind of go wherever you want with it, and I think that's freeing them up to make their decisions moving forward.
Yeah. And it kind of seems, I feel like they're, like you said, just trying to hit that big reset button and kind of form the real DCU and say that that's it. Because if you want to talk about tie-ins and stuff, Marvel has done it best.
Yeah, in
their
recent
movies.
Past,
and I think that's the strategy that they're trying to apply, you know, to get that following, you know, because it's almost like a cult following at that point, like Marvel's fans and the MCU fans. Like when we had Zach from your other podcast on, he had said that his brother had went into every Marvel movie since Iron Man 2 came out and was just like, I loved it. I'm gonna love it, and like just hyped it up so much. And then Zach was just like, this is trash. Yeah, you know, and his brother still loves every single one. Yeah. And it's like that kind of like cult following type of thing. Not that it is, but you know, that crazy stuff. And
I do like stepping away from DC for just a moment to get into the Marvel thing, I do like that Marvel has said what they've said recently.
Yes.
And they want to focus, because it's
both companies are kind of hitting that reset button.
We kind of expected it from DC. It kind of came out of nowhere from Marvel, as far as I knew. Like, all of a sudden we just started seeing articles, Marvel's not happy, Marvel's not happy, Marvel's not happy.
Yeah. Assuring us that I feel like that they're just listening, and they're taking into consider, like, they're like, let us do what we want to do. Let me see if this works so we can prove you guys wrong. Well, it turns out you guys are right.
Yeah.
We need to rethink.
And I think I got something on my sleeve. Anyways.
What is that? I'm joking.
A spider. You love spiders. I think for a while it felt like Marvel was just willing to put out anything. They know people are going to watch it because it has the Marvel tag on it. You know what I mean? And I know a lot of people were getting upset because it's like, you're just taking my money and you don't care about me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas with these new articles and new announcements and stuff coming out, it's like, okay, you had a block that you had to get through, and you started to see a downfall, and you do care about your product. And, whether or not we see it moving forward, how much of it we see moving forward. And I mean, we don't know. We got a bunch of announcements of movies to expect and movies coming out, but we don't know what's actually shot and what's in their back pocket, if they're just going to scrap it all. And, but there is going to be a transition period. Just like with DC, we're going to have that transition period. We have Shazam coming out, things like that. So I'm really curious to see what this next year, even 2 years, looks like, because with Marvel trying to hit certain key points over the next few years, they're going to have to reassess those smaller points in between. And, if they wanted to hit X, Y, and Z before they got to Secret Invasion and Secret Wars, but they're going to step back a little bit. We're going to have to see what XYZ really looks like. And they're going to have to really, this is important. This is good. This is important. It's bad. Let's rewrite it and make it good.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Or this isn't important and it sucks. Get rid of it.
Yeah.
Or this isn't important, but it's really good. So we can move forward with that kind of idea. So, we'll see. We'll see.
I'm excited, especially because when you think about it, these next 2 years for DC, they're setting up themselves. For Marvel, these next 2 years, they are hitting every single key comic issue that Marvel has put out in 2 years.
Yeah.
What do they do after?
I don't.
Not that it's every single one.
That's what
there's a lot of key issues, but the mega key issues, the first appearance, the Secret Wars number 8.
Yeah.
That's the first appearance of the black suit.
Yeah.
For Spider-Man and stuff like that. Those key issues,
I think moving. It's hard to say what they're going to do. I'd almost rather them just be like, that timeline that you saw earlier in the year or late last year, whichever it was, just it's gone.
Yeah, but like I said, like how are we're going to get it again? You know what I'm saying? In 4 years from now, to where in 4 years DC's playing the slow game, and they're going to have all this content and all these movies that they can make to where, and to think about it, it's kind of crazy because Batman is like the oldest. Batman and Superman is like the oldest superheroes.
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily the slow game when you really think about it, because Marvel has been doing this for 10 years already, and they have another 2 to 4 years planned out. So, DC is starting now.
Technically, DC started a long time ago,
right? But if none
way
of it,
sooner than Marvel.
But if the DCU doesn't matter before now, then this is square one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything before here was episode 0, as we talked about earlier.
Yeah, yeah.
And now we're getting to episode 1, where like Iron Man 1 was Marvel's first building block. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
And they had Spider-Man movies and stuff before that, but it's not MCU. So realistically, we're seeing a 15-year stretch from Marvel so far. Well, not so far. We've seen X amount of years so far, but we're looking at maybe a total of 15 by the time they get to the end of Secret Wars. Whereas like, if this is going to be like the starting block for DC, we'll see maybe they're in the same place in 10 years. You know what I mean? Maybe.
I don't think that's going to happen. You know?
I mean, they have Marvel to go off of. You know what I mean? Hey, Marvel ran into this speed bump. Let's not do that. But it all depends on how you want to tell the story. You know what I mean? Like what I feel like Marvel, me thinking of it right now, Marvel has bigger points to hit. Like they have a lot of content, but you see like the Secret Wars, like Endgame.
Yeah, but
like,
that's the thing is that after that they've hit at this point, at the end of these two phases that we know all the way to the end of, they've hit every single major event, Marvel event.
But what is DC's big events?
Well, from now they're not going to have anything to hit.
DC?
Yeah.
Yeah,
because like if they're starting here, that's what I'm saying is like it's like now it feels like Marvel's ending.
Yeah.
Almost. And like even with them saying like we're rethinking the strategy and they're trying to move forward, but it feels like it's coming to an end for Marvel to where DC is just going to start their come up. And,
but I'm saying
and they're going to have 20, 30 years from now because they have the multiverse and then an omniverse. And
but what is DC's endgame? Like what is their Secret Wars? What is, you know what I mean? We're talking about, okay, Marvel's hit every point. They've had these big points to hit. What are DC's big points to hit?
Like first appearance of Tim Drake, Nightwing, Red Hood.
I mean,
all those first appearances.
Those are big, but I don't think they're
Jokers.
I don't think they're as big as Endgame.
Joker?
What about Joker?
Joker's way bigger than Endgame. If they're starting now, they have that to tell.
But there's no point. You know what I mean? So you introduce a Joker and he's in every DC thing from now on. That's not a bullet point. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so first appearance of Iron Man, first appearance of Thor, first appearance of the Hulk.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that if they're starting the DCU now, they have to give us that. So we might get a live action Killing Joke.
But I'm saying like we going into Iron Man,
the Killing Joke.
Okay.
Sorry, but yeah.
But realistically, Killing Joke is, I feel like, pretty early in the timeline. I mean, you determine that in your storytelling. You could have 15 years of...
Yeah, I mean, but at that point, you have to get through Batgirl. Mm-hmm. And then you have to tell Batgirl. Because in the Killing Joke...
She gets paralyzed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So do you start it without Batgirl at all and you just don't have a Batgirl? Because if you start, but that's what I'm saying. If you start it at Killing Joke and you don't put Batgirl in it and you change it up like that and you're starting the DCU there, then there is no Batgirl in the DCU.
I guess I'm thinking of like Endgame is this big accumulation of everything that's happened.
They made it that way, but I don't think it was entirely that way. I mean, it was. But
like Secret Wars is a big culmination of everything that's happened. Like,
yeah,
those are big bullet points. Like Killing Joke is huge. Like that's a big thing, mm-hmm. but it's not really a culmination of everything that's happened. You know what I mean?
I guess I see what you're saying, but at the same time, a lot of DC's content is Batman.
Yeah.
And that's when I'm thinking DC, my head goes straight to Batman, you know. But at Marvel's point right now, you have 20, 30 heroes. Right now, what I'm thinking off of the top of my head is just Batman.
Yeah. But I mean,
things. You know, we have Black Adam knocking out Superman.
Just talking Justice League though, like that movie could have been like this big spectacle. That could have been this big thing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I mean, some people think it is, some people don't, blah, 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 so on and so forth. But as far as like big, like, I guess I'm saying, regardless, I'm saying all this to say DC could write this big, and I think they're doing it with Deadly Duo, 3 Jokers. We could see all these come to life in the DCU, which is huge. That being said, if we have 4 more years left of Marvel now, they can still write some big points. You know what I mean? King in Black is a huge thing, but you have to hit so many points before you get to King in Black. And then even beyond that, you get all these symbiote spin-offs of this and that.
You got to get people way more used to the multiverse before you start messing with that stuff too, I feel like.
As far as what, DC or Marvel?
I guess not so much King in Black.
No, King in Black could be.
Yeah.
It
just seems way more multiverse to me, just for the pure fact that he summons Thor's hammer.
He's a god at that point. So.
It's just it blows my mind because Thor's supposed to be the only one worthy enough. Right. So like, does that make? That's where I want to know is like, because I want to see how they tie that in and the end of that, and see like, is Thor no longer worthy? Did this happen in a multiverse or like? Oh no, like Thor is it just gone? Oh, yeah. Oh, does he? Okay, yeah. I haven't read it all entirely, and that's why
I'm just like I'm done with your toy. No, I'm just kidding.
He just forms it back into the hammer.
Yeah, he does give their weapons back to them.
Oh, that's good.
But I mean, even that, like King in Black is only a year old. You know what I mean? And if you
they'd have to write the comic and then get people used to it. Right. I feel like with Secret Wars and every major comic event is that it was a big deal in the 90s and in the 80s. New Mutants 98 was a big deal because that was the first appearance of Deadpool and stuff like that. And now, like, you've hit that. Yeah. You have Deadpool. You've hit every Secret Wars, Civil War. You've hit those.
I still just think that moving forward, especially with the amount of comics that we're getting now, the amount of stories that we're getting now, I think you can tell these stories for as long as you want, as long as the comics are a little bit ahead of the movies. I think you can build anticipation for anything. You know what I mean?
Which is where I'm saying that, like, the DCU has so much more to be able to cover at this moment. Yeah. To where we're almost up to modern day storytelling where they're going to have to start, like you were just saying, like telling King in Black stuff from a year ago, to where, I mean, stuff from a couple years ago, like we still have a long way to go for that to happen with DC. Because if we're just about to get Superman and Black Adam fighting, that happened 1970, 1980 something.
Yeah, I don't think that's as important, but yeah. I understand what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. Is like this is the start to where, and that's where I'm saying is that like I feel like it's almost coming to an end for Marvel, and like they're gonna have to start just being like, this is a show, this is a movie, this isn't canon, this isn't following a book.
Right.
Screw it.
Yeah, we'll have to see. We can't,
unless they just restart it and be like, you know what, everything that you know in the MCU, scrap it.
They pull a DC.
Yeah.
I mean, they did the same thing with X-Men, though.
That's what I'm saying.
Speaking of, now that we're 45 minutes into our podcast, we're going to get to our topic of the day. I mean, DC, everything moving forward with DC was a huge thing that we wanted to talk about. But looking at the last year, we've gotten the Batman. As far as movies go as far as like movies go in the DCU, not the DCU moving forward, but is it even a DCU at this point? Going back to there with the Batman, the Joker.
I don't know. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like now it's just up in the air, you know, like I don't think that DC even really like modern time, but they never set a marker on like, this is the DCU, you know.
I think they tried several times,
but they were almost trying to let the fans do it and they can't.
Well, I think I think they would have liked to have with like the Christian Bale stuff, but that was only going to be a trilogy. They obviously wanted it from the Justice League stuff with Batman versus Superman, the Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
But that all fell apart in their face. Like, I think they kept trying, but it just never really worked out for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even with having Jared Leto's Joker in the cut of Zack Snyder's Justice League, they're trying to tie all that stuff together, and then you get Amanda Waller. You got her in all the Suicide Squads. You got her in Black Adam. You got her in all these other things. You got her in Peacemaker. So they tried, you know what I mean, and it just didn't work out for them.
Yeah.
I think moving forward, I mean, even as far as to go as like you still have just the Batman, which doesn't fit into that, and it's coming out around the same time as like the Justice League stuff and Black Adam and the Joker.
And where does Joker fit in?
Yeah,
and stuff.
So I think what they're doing now is a very good idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah, to officially market and to officially start, which is awesome, because I think their fear is to have to compete with the MCU and to have to do that, and it kind of like it seems like they have to do that to be able to compete, because if they're not going to do that, you know, apparently, I mean, Black Adam barely broke even or something, or made very minimal compared to like, and that's like I said, and that's a movie that I love that I'm very surprised to see because I saw it twice. Going back to like where Amanda Waller was in there, Henry Cavill was in there. So moving forward, it almost questions like, will we even be able to get a Hawkman spinoff of that? Will we even be able to get? Apparently, we were supposed to. Yeah, but if that canon is out, I mean, I don't think The Rock's going to let that happen. I think The Rock is going to do whatever he wants, and he has the money to do it. Yeah. Just gonna be like, DC Comics and everything else is mine now. He's like, oh, Discovery bought you? I just bought Discovery. So, but movies, DC movies of 2022, we got The Batman. I loved The Batman. I was a little nervous going into it, but I ended up loving it. It's been my favorite Batman movie since Christian Bale. I even like The Batman better than the Christian Bale, the third one with Bane. I don't remember the name of it. But. Yeah, the trailer was great. The trailer scared me because I felt like I didn't know what I was going to get out of Pattinson, and all I knew was Twilight. Okay, at that point, I've seen I think all three of them. That's what made me a little nervous going into, but I also was like, I didn't even watch Twilight. I watched Twilight, and I think that's kind of what scared me at first. Is that I was like, okay, I see the trailer, all I'm seeing is him in Twilight and as a vampire. Edward. Yeah, and that's his name. I couldn't think about it for a second, but I'm like, all I'm seeing is that because of his eyes. I was like, it's him. You know, like that's the problem, is that he played such a big character and that movie blew up the way that it did. And I felt like the trailer, I'm like, I don't feel good about that. I see the vampire, and then when I saw it, I was very thrown off because it was the first time he took off the mask and you saw him without the mask. And then after that, the thought was out of my head. Yeah. It was completely out of my head. I was like, this is Batman. This is Bruce Wayne. This is cool. And I was a huge fan. And then I was like, he's no longer Edward. You know, who's Edward? Right. Moving forward with the movies from DC this year, there are a couple one-offs that we're not going to touch on, like DMZ, DC Super Pets. We're not really going to touch on. We're going to hit Black Adam in the interest of time. And, I mean, you know what we think about Black Adam. Oh, yeah. We were just talking about Black Adam. That whole 12 out of 10. 12 out of 10. Man. I would go 9 out of 10. I think I did go 9 out of 10. I think we both did, yeah. Like 9.8 or something. I was like, I can't give it perfect. We do have a whole podcast talking about what we thought about Black Adam, and it's still really new.
So I don't think our opinions on it have changed too much. Mine has, and I still think it's a great movie.
Yeah, I think it got released either today or yesterday. Everything's like happening today.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's on HBO now.
Oh, I was just looking for it yesterday, so I don't think
had to be
I
this
don't
morning.
think it was there yesterday.
It had to be this morning because I'm like, I gotta go home and watch Black Adam because I just thought
I'm
about it.
gonna
I was
turn
like,
it on again too.
Haven't seen it since it was in the theaters. So.
But Black Adam, great movie overall. I kind of wish they would have left it more standalone without the Superman cameo now, especially knowing what we know now about the DCU going forward. But even without the Superman cameo, you still have the Amanda Waller and stuff like that. So.
But apparently Black Adam 2 is not going to happen.
Yeah.
Supposedly, but we don't know. We do or we don't.
We'll see who owns the rights to what moving forward.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I don't know if money might come into factor here somewhere. We'll see what happens.
I'm glad that we saw Henry Cavill in the suit one more time. Yeah. That's it. You know, like if that's it, then okay.
I mean, you can go rewatch movies and see him as much as you want in the suit.
Yeah, I'm gonna
with or without
I'm just
a
gonna
mustache.
watch the ending, and they're gonna just see me like rewinding the ending.
I was saying you can go watch Batman vs Superman 15 times, and you see Henry Cavill every time in the suit.
Well, yeah, but
oh man,
it's cool to see him. The thought of him coming back and how excited I was, and that I still have that. In the movie,
he left The Witcher for this, and now it's in question. Wow, wow, wow. Shazam! Fury of the Gods is coming out soon. I did just kind of want to see what you thought about it moving into that time.
I just rewatched the first one.
Okay, I still haven't seen the whole first one. So
see, rewatching it now, I like it a little more now than I did when I first came out. But at the same time, when I saw it, I think I had a whole bunch of like friends over, or I was at a friend's house or something, and like it was not the best situation to watch the movie in, and I was like, this is kind of weird, But now watching it again, my son likes to watch it and rewatch it 3 times in a row. I thought it was pretty good.
I want to see it. I do want to watch the first one again. I think it's going to be hard for me moving forward with DC movies until I know, like, hey, this is gonna matter.
See, I don't think it's going to be that hard for me, especially because I feel like at this point, like I'm used to
it not mattering.
Yeah, like I'm used
I guess you're right.
to Keaton being Batman, and then same thing as Christian Bale and Ben Affleck.
I guess I'm just saying, like in the back of my head, the whole time it's gonna be like, this isn't gonna matter in 3 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as long as they put out a good movie, it's gonna take me out of that mindset. And I'll be able to watch a good movie. But
and I feel like that's what DC does consistently.
I disagree, but anyways,
what movie do you disagree with? Just real quick,
Justice League. So
I honestly, are you just not a fan of that story and like that movie?
I honestly
or is
didn't
it like, do you think that movie was genuinely a bad movie?
I didn't like any of the Batman movies with, I almost said Ben Stiller.
Ben Affleck.
Yeah, Ben Affleck.
That'd be hilarious.
I didn't like any of them. I would never watch them again. I didn't like Batman versus Superman.
None of them would be on a top 10 list for me as far as like, favorite Batman things.
As far as like even to go as far as the Christian Bale Batman movies, not Dark Knight, great movie. One of my favorites of all time. On both ends of it, I could kind of do without him. I do like the Bane thing. I love Tom Hardy. Just not that interesting of a movie to me. I don't know why. Just wasn't my cup of tea.
I feel like that has to just do with Affleck, and I feel like that's mainly
for those movies. I don't know. I just wasn't interested in those movies. But as far as the Christian Bale ones, I love the characters, love like the casting, love most of the movie. But there's, I felt like with the Christian Bale ones, there was always like a chunk of the movie that just took me out. Yeah. It's like, I think even Dark Knight,
they get slow a little bit.
Even in Dark Knight, there's that part in the middle where he's in China or Japan.
Yeah, I knew exactly what you were saying.
I've skipped that part of the movie before just to get to the other side of it. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing with those. It's like there's always a part where like I'm looking at my phone, looking at my watch, like, is it over yet? Like, let's get back to the movie.
Yeah, but the thing that it doesn't make me do in comparison is just like, I never am like, why did you do this? God, can you stop?
I felt that way all of Justice League.
Really?
All of it.
What cut?
I watched the regular one. I didn't watch the Zack Snyder. I've heard the Zack Snyder is better, but
I like the Snyder cut.
I'm not going to watch a 4-hour movie if I didn't like the 2-hour version, 3-hour version, whatever. I also, like I said, I didn't like any of the Batman movies going up into it. Like, I just didn't. You know what I mean? Like, I just didn't. I did like Aquaman. I've seen bits and pieces of Wonder Woman. Didn't have a problem with. I think I have seen Wonder Woman. I don't know. I didn't have a problem with.
Wonder Woman was just a weird time.
I didn't have a problem with anything else around Justice League except for the Batman Superman stuff going up to it, and then I just felt like that movie was more of that. There is parts of it that I do like, but not enough to make me want to watch it ever again or ever see. I don't, maybe that's like, why I'm not excited about Henry Cavill. I'm also not a Superman person.
Quick question. Watch this. Who's Doomsday?
No.
There it is. That's why. That's why you don't like it. I'm obsessed with it, and I feel like that's where I'm like, that's a great movie because that's where we got the death of Superman, and that's where Doomsday happened, and that's the first appearance of Doomsday. So that made those comics go crazy. But like, I don't. That's a mega key event.
There's been so many other movies, shows, DC, Marvel, anything in between, where I don't know anything about the content going in. I feel like going back to Moon Knight every time we do. I knew absolutely nothing about Moon Knight, but after Moon Knight, I want to buy pops. I want to buy comics. I want to know more about Moon Knight. I want to watch people break down Moon Knight. I want to read Moon Knight comics. Like, it's been that way.
I guess, yeah.
And, I mean, I feel the same way about Iron Man movies. I don't like the Iron Man movies. I think they're okay, but
see, I like the first one.
It's the best one in my opinion.
Yeah,
but I could
not that I don't.
I could have done without it. I mean, I feel like we've said the same thing about Thor movies. Yeah, you know what I mean. I liked Ragnarok, but
I think the thing is like why I think it's a great movie in comparison is because I do know Doomsday and like not that I grew up with Doomsday, but he was I'm pretty sure in cartoons. Like I'm pretty sure I had like VHS tapes with him on them, and like just knowing the death of Superman and that. Playing Injustice and stuff like that growing up.
I played Injustice, but I don't know. I just didn't like...
Doomsday is made out of kryptonite, and Doomsday is like the one thing that can kill Superman and has killed Superman.
Yeah. I don't know.
But we got it in that movie, and that's why I'm like, that's a great movie, you know. And the Zack Snyder cut does it best. Or is that... Batman vs. Superman. It was Batman vs. Superman.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, there's Justice League starts with them bringing Superman back from the dead.
That's what I was like. Yeah.
TV shows for DC though. This is where I lived.
Yeah.
I thought you were
pointing. Did I make you look?
Yeah, I was like, what? There's nothing over there. Anyways, Peacemaker. You didn't finish Peacemaker, I don't think.
I didn't finish. I thought it was hilarious.
I was addicted to Peacemaker. Another one, I didn't know anything about Peacemaker.
I loved it, and the only reason I couldn't watch it is because everybody else that I tried to watch it with made me shut it off.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about Peacemaker. Fell in love with Peacemaker.
Me neither. I liked it.
Thought about... For a split second, I thought about dressing up as Peacemaker for Halloween, but I don't think I have the body for that, or the head shape. Finding a helmet that would fit my head, dude.
I was like, that helmet would have sucked. I was just thinking like you wouldn't be able to see anything in DJing that.
I loved Peacemaker.
Yeah.
That's another one though.
John Cena playing the character drew it in for me in the first place.
I feel like John Cena was born to be Peacemaker. And then the way he did marketing for it after, I don't think he took off the outfit for 6 months, did he? Like every night show he was on, every commercial he did, every YouTube interview, he was in Peacemaker all the time.
Yep.
Promoting that stuff. And I mean, it's James Gunn too, on top of that. I loved Peacemaker. Then we got the Sandman.
Yes.
Sandman. I almost thought that wasn't this year.
Me too.
But
I was like, wow.
I feel like Sandman is what started this. Really, really. You know what I mean? That's when we started talking about comics together.
Yeah, because we were like, have you seen Sandman?
Yeah.
And that was wow.
Yeah, I'm really happy they got Daniel Madison to play Sandman. And if anybody knows that joke, that'd be funny.
I know exactly.
Yeah, I was sending you like pictures. I was sending you pictures of Daniel Madison while you were watching the Sandman.
Yeah.
Another one, I didn't know anything about it. The one thing I will say is it did make me want to go to the comics, but then I kind of looked at the comics and I was like, I want the show. I don't want this comic.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's how it made me feel.
It's a live action versus the comic.
Yeah.
If it was a cartoon, I feel like you would
just how dark, like I feel like I was immersed in that show, and that show was so beautiful. I feel like in every episode there were so many frames where if you just pause it and took a screenshot, if you were watching on the computer or your phone, you could make that a computer background. You could make it a print. Like there were so many frames. There were so many instances of that throughout that show.
Every time they showed just one character on a screen, it was like very theatric.
I'm like thinking about like when I think he was walking into hell through the gate, and then you see the silhouette of him in the gate, and on the other side is just like this crazy landscape.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God.
And then that demon walks up.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. That was a beautiful show.
Yeah.
I love
the
me
show.
Otherwise.
I'm upset that apparently season 2 got canceled. Right?
Season 2 has been in question pretty much ever since season 1 came out.
I don't get it.
And I know
I thought it did really well.
I think it's a very similar thing to Moon Knight. I think the fans are going crazy and they want it. Like the people who want it so bad.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what's going on with it behind the scenes. I know it was a big Netflix thing, and maybe that's something going on with Netflix and DC and HBO and Discovery, and I have no idea. I have no idea why they wouldn't put that out again. Yeah, I don't know. I loved that show.
I thought it was great. I was like, they got a hit. I was watching it and I fell in love with it.
I would have binged 7 seasons of that show in one go. And then
see that because it was so early on, that kind of set the bar for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And then we got all these other shows, which
that's Marvel.
I know, but that's the sad part, and like that's the part that's
well. Like, I mean,
it's cool. And it
if
sucks, and that set the bar, and it's canceled now. That's my point. That
if you're including things like Marvel, I mean, we got Peacemaker, Moon Knight, Sandman, and then we went into like She-Hulk. You know, so. Mm-hmm. As far as like superhero DC Marvel shows go, like yeah, you're totally right. Mm-hmm. And then we're wrapping up this year with Titans and Doom Patrol. Titans, I love Titans.
I'm not caught up yet, but
yeah, I'm not gonna say too much. I love Titans. I feel like if Titans, like as far as like Doom Patrol and Titans go, if I was going to recommend any of them, I'd recommend Titans to anybody into it. But if you just like weird stuff, dude, Doom Patrol is where it's at. Like
I like Doom Patrol.
I know you're past like the first episode now, so I will say
I'm into
like,
episode 3.
Like the whole series starts with the town being sucked into a donkey's butt. Like
yeah.
And now where I'm at, I'm not going to spoil anything, but they're fighting butts. Like there's a lot in between, so it's not all butt humor.
But it's not the show that I was expecting.
No.
It definitely doesn't. Like, that sounds very, like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Like, that sounds like a kid's show or, like, why, like, stupid humor. The exact kind of humor that we say that we hate so much for Thor, Love, and Thunder, but it's not like that.
Yeah.
It's not like that.
It's not even humor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's my point. It's like it's taken seriously, but then like at the same like it's humorous because it is what it is, but then like you're like it's not like annoying.
That's like it's like not even portrayed as humor. Like the donkey part, like the whole, like everything's falling apart. The whole town is crumbling. Like stuff is going crazy. People are getting sucked into this hole, and then all of a sudden it goes into a donkey's butt.
Yeah.
And then the show, like the episode's over, and you're like, what did I just watch?
Yeah. Like, and you're like so invested into it, and then the last second you're like, oh, that just went into his butt, and you're like,
yeah.
That's the like the humorous part of it to me.
Yeah.
Is that it's just like it blows your mind in that kind of way. And it's so stupid, but like it's not overdone.
Yeah.
You know, I was way more invested in the town falling apart and everything happening. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Like the turmoil in the team, and that doesn't go away.
Oh yeah.
The turmoil in the team is still a big issue, and
I love the one Warhammer or Hammerhead character.
Jane, part of Jane's.
Yeah, it has like 64 different personalities. I love that character.
You get way more into that.
I love that character.
Dude, Jane, and I love that actress. She's doing it. She's from Orange is the New Black.
Is she really?
But the way that she's like doing all these personalities and she's doing all this stuff.
It's cool.
Like she's doing it. Like she's doing a really good job, and I'm really into that. Like I said, Titans is more of something I'd just recommend to somebody who loves superhero stuff. It's not Teen Titans, so it starts with like the Teen Titans got into a fight years ago and somebody died in the Teen Titans, and now Dick Grayson is trying to put a new team together essentially. So they're both awesome. Actually, there's a whole episode of Titans that takes place at the Doom Patrol house with Cliff and
oh dang.
Yeah. It's I think they said that it's actually not what is the word? It's not canon? It's not I think they actually said that it's not canon. But
it's weird because I have
but it is the same characters. It is the same characters. Like Cliff is Brendan Fraser. Yeah. Is it Brendan Fraser? Mm-hmm. Why do I think that's wrong? I'm really good at names and words.
It's so crazy because you got that right, and we're usually terrible at names. Yeah. And then you're like, I'm wrong.
But then when I get something right, I'm like, no, that's wrong. I have to be wrong.
And we're like, no, we're right.
But yeah. They're both shows are really good. So we got like I think it was 4 or 5 episodes into Titans, and then they took a holiday break. And now we're getting Doom Patrol on Thursdays instead of Titans, and I'm guessing they're going to swap off, or I don't know, after the holidays, maybe we'll get Doom Patrol and Titans on the same day. Right. But both seasons so far are crazy. Titans especially, they're, oh my God.
Just diving into Titans and the little bit that I did see, again, I have to, these are shows that I kind of have to watch by myself because people don't get into them that I'm trying to watch TV with. So then it's either 3:00 in the morning or like when I'm by myself, you know. So I don't have that much time to watch them. But the little bit that I have watched them, I think they're great, you know. And I definitely find myself invested in wanting to watch them more. But then like somebody doesn't want to watch it, and then it's like, okay, let me start Doom Patrol, and then they don't want to watch that. But then I'm like, I want to watch it.
I'm doing the same thing right now with Daredevil. And I accidentally started a whole journey with that. So I watched Daredevil season 1, and then I started season 2. And the first episode of season 2, the Punisher is in, but I know there's a Punisher show. So I was like, I'm going to watch this. Well, I knew Daredevil, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Jessica Jones were all in the Defenders together.
Right.
But I was like, I'm going to watch Daredevil first because I really want to learn more about Daredevil, and I've heard it's really good. So then I started that, and I'm just like, I'm going to watch all of Daredevil, and then I'll go watch all of Jessica Jones, all of whatever. But then I saw that The Punisher was in season 2, episode 1, and I'm like, when is Punisher before or after Daredevil? Like, am I supposed to already know where this Punisher is coming from in blah, blah, 'cause it doesn't seem like it. And then I was like, let me see. And it's like Daredevil season 1, then Jessica Jones season 1, then Daredevil season 2, then this, then this, then this, and this. So I started Jessica Jones last night at like 4:00 in the morning.
Got yourself down that
I'm on a journey through this. So if you know about it, let me know what you think about it.
Sucked into some donkey butt.
Hey, Daredevil's dope.
Dude, I know.
Yo, have you seen the show?
No,
Oh my God.
no,
So good.
no. Another one that I need to watch. I need time. I need time.
I know. That's what I'm like.
And Marvel's just pumping them out so quick that I just can't even watch them.
This is like 2013.
I mean, just with everything right now. That's what I'm saying.
I get it. I'm the same way. That's why I'm like,
that's what I'm saying is that I can't even keep track of when certain ones come out.
Do I need sleep tonight, or do I want to watch some more?
Yeah,
but I was addicted to Daredevil. I was like, I can watch one more. I can watch one more.
I do the same.
I can watch one more. Like, oh man.
And then it's 6 o'clock in the morning, and you're like, I gotta get up for work.
Yeah. All right. So that was DC 2022. Oh, DC Comics 2022. What are you excited about?
Everything. Everything.
3 Jokers came out this year.
Yeah. Wait, was it? It wasn't the end of... Maybe it was. Yeah, maybe it was.
I think it was this year. Yeah. I think it was this year.
I got it in July.
I know when we were talking about it, you had just like got in the
line.
The line, yeah, the hall. Okay. So 3 Jokers. We
got a lot of Joker stuff. We got 3 Jokers.
The Man Who Stopped Laughing.
Yep.
We got a lot. One Bad Days.
That's exactly what I was gonna say next. Yep.
We got Batman and the Joker, Deadly Duo.
Mm-hmm.
And
Batman Spawn. I was waiting. You saw me. I was about to pop. I was like, Batman Spawn.
There's. I mean,
we started it in the beginning, but Batman Spawn. Dude, that's my excitement levels.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm just gonna skip work because I have to leave for work right now.
Yeah.
Or in a little bit, and I'm just gonna skip work and go to a comic shop. No, I'm joking. I'm gonna go to work, but.
I bet you are.
I need the book. I need the book now.
Yeah. Luckily we have it on hold, so we're not gonna not be able to get one.
Yeah.
You know what? So like that's cool. I
need it.
Yeah, I got you. A ton of. I feel like DC was killing it with comics this year. I guess I'm not like a huge DC Comics guy for some reason. I love the movies. Asterisk. I'm huge DC animated. Like I love DC animated. That's where. But I mean, these last shows that came out: Titans, Doom Patrol, Peacemaker, Sandman.
Yeah, I think they're all great, especially because like they're all a little different and all in their own little. Yeah. As far as shows.
Oh yeah, like, totally different.
You know,
some are super dark, some are super funny, some are super, weird.
Yep.
But I mean, you look at the list for this is what I wrote down for us because I knew these were talking points for us. There was some that we missed, like I said, the Batman, Black Adam, Peacemaker, Sandman, Titans, Doom Patrol. That's a cool list.
Yep.
Regardless of what's going on in the DCU right now, regardless of the talks that we just had about Justice League and this and that, like that is a cool year.
Yeah,
I'm
got a lot of
excited
cool stuff
to see what's coming after they kind of figure all this stuff out. Anything else? DC 2022.
I think that's it. I mean, if we're missing something, it's just because there's a lot, and we got some heat this year.
I'm trying to think of any other like big comics that I'm forgetting, but I can't think of anything. Those are big ones already.
Yeah.
I know like White Knight is big right now. I've picked up a couple of them. Knight. Yeah, I picked up a couple of them. Haven't been able to get into them yet, but
the Detective Comics stuff. I think we got Detective Comics 1063, which is like the 1000th appearance of the Dark Knight or something like that.
Okay.
So
I'm not up on the Detective Comics stuff, but. All right, y'all. What did you think about DC in 2022? What did you think about the things that we talked about? What did you think about? Have you watched Doom Patrol? Do you think it's crazy? What did you think about the butts? Titans, the Batman. What do you think about Robert Pattinson's? Is it Pattinson? Anyways, what do you think about his Batman? What do you think about Black Adam moving forward and things like Peacemaker? I think that's it, right?
Yeah.
So like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the Patreon. Check out the links in the description for things like free money on Whatnot and discount codes on jitterlessenergydubby.gg. Until next time, this has been Collective Comics.
See you guys.